Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
Christian.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As said in the last two episodes, and I'll say it in this episode and in the next episode, and that'll be the last time I say it. The podcast schedule is different now. We're weekly, kinda. But every episode will be dedicated to a specific section of the podcast. The podcast previously split into four sections. We start with animation, then we talk about comics and books, talk about live action TV and film, and then we talk about video games. Those four sections will be split into four individual episodes. So every month there'll be four episodes, or just about how calendars work. Sometimes there might be three episodes a month. But yeah, so we're gonna start with anime, then we're gonna 1 week's going to be anime. The next week's going to be books and comics. Next week after that, TV and film, like right now. And next week after this one, it's going to be games. And then we'll have a week break, and then we'll restart. So that's how it's going to go from here on out. And that just made things easier for us in terms of managing things. And so far, it's been going pretty well. But yeah, as always, free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free everybody. Everybody
Yeah,
deserves to be free. The world is crazy
precisely.
right now. It's wild. But what have you been watching lately in terms of live action TV and film?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, the last thing that I saw in theaters was Project Hail Mary. I did see it, and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was good. I think that Phil Lord and Chris Miller have the most dynamic filmography ever. Like to go from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, to the Lego movie, to 22 Jump Street, to here. Like it's just very interesting how their storytelling goes. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-made sci-fi film. It is unfortunate that there's some people trying to pull a Top Gun Maverick and say that it's anti-woke because it's a film with a white male protagonist, and that entire discourse is very annoying because it's like anytime there's a mainstream film and it does well, it happens to have a white protagonist, it's like, see, audience don't like black folks, and it's just a weird dialogue. And I just think it's a great sci-fi film. It's a very good sci-fi
Yeah, for
film.
sure. I didn't know you were going to see that. Because I very purposely was like, I'm not going to take notes of that one because I'm going to talk about that with Gigi. But now that you've seen
Mm,
it, we'll talk
I
about
didn't
that
know that. Right?
a little bit later.
Other than Project Hail Mary, oh yeah, Maryland Film Festival. Went to the Maryland Film Festival over the past couple days and saw some cool independent shorts. One from a person that's always been in the Oregon scene, Todrick Copeland. Your film was very cool, and it was just a very cool piece of work. So it was cool seeing like one of our peers be recognized on the festival stage. It was cool. But yeah, shout out to filmmaker Todrick Copeland for the film that made it to Maryland Film Festival. There's a lot of cool people, a lot of our coworkers that were a part of the crew, and it was a cool piece of work. So seeing what local filmmakers are doing, it's very inspiring. So yeah, Project Hail Mary and some cool independent films. That's really what I've been watching as of recent.
Cool. Well, dear. For me, more live action recently because a lot of good movies have come out in theaters. And some shows have been coming out. Still watching the live action One Piece. Uh, I've been watching like one episode a week, and I'll watch an episode after I watch an episode of the anime. Um, but I've been watching like half an episode because they're hour long episodes. But I need to start watching full episodes. And if I don't finish it the Saturday after I watch the episode of the animated series, then I should finish it on Sunday. But yeah, I need to lock in and finish that up. Um, but yeah, still enjoying that. My biggest criticism is I've said it before, like the acting in some places is weird, but Zoro specifically, very strange direction on him, where he's just too stoic. In the anime, Zoro is a very emotive character. He laughs, he cries, he gets angry, but in the live action, he's very stoic, and I feel like that might be due to some limitations with the actor, and I'm like, this that sucks. Zora's my favorite character, and they're not necessarily doing him justice. But the costume design and the set design is so great in that show. Though it's definitely looks great.
Cool.
Also watching Daredevil Born Again, that premiered. I'll talk a lot more about that later. But I also saw Project Hail Mary. It was great. I'm mad because it just uh, went back into IMAX, and I was like, damn, I wanted to see an IMAX, but I also don't want to
Yeah.
spend money to see it again. So I was like, ah.
Right. Yeah. It was very impromptu for me because I saw that there was an IMAX ticket available at 9:30. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I should have saw it sooner because it was a movie that I was excited for, but just waited too long to see it. So Mario took over the IMAX theaters around us, so I couldn't see it at the time in IMAX.
Mario was in IMAX,
Yeah,
the IMAX experience of the year.
I mean, it's a
Dune.
good looking movie. I'm sure it looked great in
Okay.
IMAX. Like, if,
Okay.
if that movie has anything going for it, it's definitely its visuals.
Okay.
But
Interested on your thoughts on that.
yeah. I also saw the drama, which was very good. I kind of want to see it again. It was really good. I missed the beginning because got to the theater a little bit late, but like I didn't miss a lot. Like I missed like maybe the first few minutes, but I definitely will watch it again just to experience again, not even necessarily to see the beginning of it. And lastly, but certainly not least, in anticipation for today's episode, because this episode is coming after the Oscars happened on April 4th, I made sure Christian, I finally sat down and watched one battle after another. And we will be getting into that.
Okay. Okay.
After so many months, I finally sat down and watched it.
And, unfortunately, I've still not seen it yet,
Oh,
so
really? I didn't
I
know that.
haven't seen it yet. Yeah,
I'm.
I have to fix it.
That's crazy. I should have warned you. I thought you'd seen it.
Oh no, I didn't see it. No. In regards to some of the Oscar stuff, I am behind. Like, do want to watch one battle after another eventually. I do want to watch Hamnet as well. Like, there's a few films, like
Mm.
Secret Agent as well. Like, I want to catch up and see. Yeah, just I want to see some of those films. The only other Best Picture thing that I've watched, unfortunately, is F1. That's the only other Best Picture film that I've seen
And
this
we'll
year.
talk about that because F1 won the award that also racing video games always win. But getting into some trailers and news. Starting with some news. Metal Gear Solid movie to be directed by Final Destination Bloodlines duo. This is coming
Right?
from Jim. Uh, uh, how do I pronounce this last name? Vivoda? I'm gonna assume that's what it is. This has come from Jim Vivoda at IGN. And I'm just gonna read the whole article because it's pretty short. Final Destination Bloodlines filmmakers Zach Lipowski and Adam B. Stein will direct a live-action feature film adaptation of Konami and Hideo Kojima's iconic video game franchise, Metal Gear Solid. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the duo are making the Metal Gear Solid movie for Sony's Columbia Pictures as part of a first look deal between Sony Pictures and the filmmaker's new production company, Wonderlab. Lepowski and Stein said in a statement, Metal Gear Solid was nothing short of a groundbreaking cinematic masterpiece that forever revolutionized video games. We are thrilled and honored to bring Hideo Kojima's iconic characters and unforgettable world to life. A movie version of Metal Gear Solid has been lingering in development hell since it was first announced back in 2012. Jordan Vaught Roberts from Kong Skull Island was previously attached to direct an adaptation that he said aimed to be a riskier, balls to the wall Kojima-san version of the game. Oscar Isaac had been attached to star in Vought Roberts' iteration as the game's stealthy Spec Ops protagonist Solid Snake. No word yet on another Lepowski and Stein. No word yet on whether Lepowski and Stein would still want Oscar to star, or Isaac. It said, but I said Oscar. Metal Gear Solid will be produced by Ari and Avi Arad, the father-son team previously who produced live-action movie adaptations of Borderlands and Uncharted, two bad video game adaptations.
Oh my gosh. No.
Avi Arad,
Like,
of course, ran Marvel Studios before Kevin Feige took over. Uh, Nothing about this sounds exciting.
at all.
in the slightest.
Like,
All the wrong people are attached to this.
goodness
Like
gracious.
I've heard that Final Destination Bloodlines is good, but based on the type of film that is, I wouldn't assume that these two people are the people to adapt a Metal Gear Solid movie.
Right. Like,
Jordan Vogt Robb is, I think he would have been great, especially since he was planning to be
exactly.
weird. And I think there's only two directions you can go with Metal Gear: super standard, faithful, and very like stealth action espionage, like a Mission Impossible, James Bond type thing, or balls to the wall, like they said, crazy. It can only be those two things. And also, I like a Metal Gear movie either has to be the best movie you ever seen, or
Right.
a movie so bad that it circles back around to being good. Those are the
Right.
only two options. You can't be boring. You can't be
Exactly.
basic. You have to be either really good or really weird or both.
Yeah. It's like they can't make it the Bourne films. Like there's if they made Metal Gear Solid like a straightforward espionage film and it's just Oscar Isaac grimacing, that just would not be a fun movie. Um, and yeah, I feel like the only way to really do it in a way that's interesting to me, at least, is dive into the '80s pastiche, like really get into that bag, and like, I mean, shoot, who Snake was inspired by, like, get into that John Carpenter, Kurt Russell bag. Like, and I feel like if they
Oh yeah,
really wanted to make it a period piece, that could be cool, which is why I was excited about
yeah.
Jordan Vogt Roberts potentially doing it because
Like
he did Kong.
yeah, especially like I'm not mad at them like making changes like to the story and doing weird things. Like you said, having it take place in the 80s, whether that be because they're adapting the original Metal Gear games, which I think do take place in like the 80s or the 90s. Or if they wanted to take Metal Gear Solid 1, which I think takes place in like 2004, if they wanted to be like, no, that actually takes place in the 80s, I wouldn't be mad at that. Like they made changes like that. Um, like I'm open to changes to the story for sure. And like
Yeah,
for them to get real interesting with it. For it to, but at the end of the day, just the characters have to be true to themselves. And it has to be true to the weird aesthetic that Kojima has.
right. It's just that weird, like, new world and new tech type of
Yeah, like
aesthetic, but also,
sci-fi
yeah,
militarism is what it is, really.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like you're saying, like sci-fi espionage. And yeah, it's like this interesting mix of like Y2K tech fear mixed with like Cold War aesthetic.
Yeah, like all of the Metal Gear games are about like anti-nuclear war and
Mhm.
anti-nukes in general. That is like at the core, and that is what has to be at the core of these stories: is anti-nuclear war and also just a big criticism of war. And as funny as it is to say, because this is a very famous line from Metal Gear Solid 4: "War has changed," for
Yeah,
and with the way war has, they say war stays the same, and to an extent it has, but also a lot of new wars that are really just a perpetuation of old wars are happening at the moment that we I could easily see being parodied and criticized and just discussed through a Metal Gear film that could be really good.
right. Like that could be perfect. Like, I mean, shoot, the title Metal Gear is based around a weapon. Like, it's a good opportunity to talk about the military industrial complex and like the business of war and making these
Yeah,
massive weapons. Like like the entire all of the games are a critique of that for sure. And yeah, there's just so many opportunities
yeah.
to have a if anything should could be adapted into a film, I feel like Metal Gear is perfect because Kojima is a film director that happens to make video games, and I feel like that would be a perfect marriage between the 2.
Kojima has
Um,
a whole book that I need to Loki reread from the beginning as well as
mhm.
finish reading, called The Creative Gene, that is basically him just reviewing movies. that he
Oh, that's
likes,
cool.
and talking about how they like relate to his work on Metal Gear and other projects. And I have two picks for who I think would be great directors for this outside of the duo of Lepowski and Stein that they're considering.
Okay.
The first one is a more basic, straightforward one that I think makes sense, um, but would be more on a boring route, but probably still really fun and good. And that's Christopher McQuarrie, who did the last five Mission Impossible movies,
Mhm.
the best Mission Impossible movies. Ghost
Yeah.
Protocol, my personal favorite, Rogue Nation, Fallout, and then Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning. Um,
Oh,
you know,
Ghost, trying to think. Ghost Protocol was, Brad
Oh, you're
Bird.
right. Brad Bird was Ghost Protocol. He did the last four though, but still four of the
Still
best
crazy.
ones. And he
Crazy
went he
run.
went on a crazy run with those four movies and wrapping up the series as a whole. And yeah, he tells incredible action espionage stories, and I think he'd be a good job. But I don't think he necessarily has the weird factor that Metal Gear needs. But I feel like that role, if he were to direct it, could be filled by the writers.
Yeah.
Um, but if I were to throw another hat in the ring of someone who is both a weird writer and director, I would say, and this is a direction that you don't usually go. People don't usually go when it comes to adapting video games. They always immediately go to Western directors. But let's throw it back
Yeah.
over to the East. Um,
Ooh, oh,
Hid-
good idea.
Hideki Anno, creator of Neon Genesis
Yeah.
Evangelion, and of course has live action experience with Shin Godzilla, would be perfect. He, of course,
Yeah.
has the sci fi, military, and political commentary chops from both Evangelion and Shin Godzilla. He would kill it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, that would be sick.
Moving on to our next bit of news. Grant Morrison criticizes Lantern's producer, um, Damon Lindelof, for commenting about the Green and the Green Lantern title being stupid. So the producer, David Lindelof, joked in an interview that they decided to take the green out of the show's title because it was stupid. Um, Adding fuel to the fire, of people who already feel that the people making this show are ashamed of the source material, like so many comic adapters before them.
Yeah.
And the fallout from this comment was so bad that famed comic writer Grant Morrison made a statement. um, they said, Damon Lindelof's comments notwithstanding, the Green and Green Lanterns is not stupid. Why does a writer attach himself to this kind of narrative if he thinks it's fundamentally stupid? You don't hand CSI scripts to patronizing writers who condemn forensic experts and their haircuts as stupid. So why hire people who are ashamed and in denial about the comic book material they've been assigned to develop? Why don't they turn down jobs they're not suited for? It's not like he needs the money, and Lindelof has proven that he can come up with his own ideas. What is this jockish dismissal of superhero conventions intended to prove anyway? Does Lindelof imagine it makes him seem less nerdy? It's a bit too late for that. So what's it all about? The only people who give a fuck about the Lanterns TV series are Green Lantern fans. Why alienate them at the start? That feels more like stupid. Green Lanterns is a much more evocative and dramatic title than Lanterns, just as Raise the Red Lantern is a better movie title than Raise the Lantern. And anyone who can't grasp why that is shouldn't be anywhere near superhero stories. The show might even be good, but how much better could this stuff be if studios were willing to hire the right people for the job instead of phoning their embarrassed friends to water the source material down? They ended by saying Hollywood will die of insularity and inbreeding. This is coming from DCU updates on Twitter via Grant Morrison's Substack, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've also used the inbreeding metaphor for comics based on a quote from Alan Moore that I can't quite remember. But the gist is that comics are no longer taking inspiration from things like mythology and film or novels or even real life histories, and instead are taking inspiration from other comics, resulting in this like incestuous relationship that creates deformed stories. But that's not necessarily how Grant Morrison's using it.
Yeah.
They're referring to filmmakers hiring their friends just because they're friends and not because they're the right person for the job, resulting in films, especially superhero films, that miss the mark because people or the people working on it couldn't care less about the source material. Um,
Right.
and yeah, it's just very unfortunate. And
It is.
they're not wrong about
I know, yeah, not wrong at all. Cause yeah, the it's often like, and this could go for video game adaptations, but absolutely for comic book adaptations. It's almost like filmmakers try to make it's like every decision they make is in spite of the comic. It's like we have to make this good. And instead of like seeing the good in the comic and instead of seeing the good in the comic and accentuating it, instead it's like, how do we make it less comic booky instead of leaning into the sensibilities? Like, yeah, it's just a very weird mindset to have that the initial work is inherently flawed. Therefore, by making it live action, we have to like I don't know. It's just like you sap out all of the original character and fun of the original source material. But it's like it's almost like all of the fun and all of the cool factor of the source material is the thing that they don't like.
Yeah,
It's
they see it
so
as lesser than, they see it as just childish and like something that doesn't, that just isn't respectable, and they have to
right.
make it respectable. And it's like, no, people like
Yeah.
these stories for a reason. Do you know what some of the most popular best-selling stories on the planet are? Shonen anime, which are by design made for little boys, yet grown men and women and everything in between alike enjoy those stories, and they're the most highest selling things on the face of the planet Earth.
Right.
Yet they want to pretend like like to elevate something, it has to not be that, and it's insane. Lindelof has since come out and apologized.
Okay, that's
He
good.
Because he realized how stupid that was. For years,
Yeah.
people have been criticizing filmmakers for not really caring about the source material, and for him to be an idiot and come out and say this was just ridiculous.
Already when there's enough critiques about the show. It was like the worst statement you could possibly make because the trailer already said that. Like the trailer, based on what was shown on camera, basically was saying that the lantern core, the color green, expressiveness is stupid. Like the trailer communicated that. Um, yeah, not that it's anything wrong with a darker and grittier take, but the sci-fi and cosmic weirdness is the point. Like it's inherently the point of
Yeah,
the lantern core.
like we said last time we talked about this, like there's room for filmmakers who want to tell what they consider to be more elevated stories in the comic book world. There's space for that because there are very specific characters that are made for that they could do that with. They shouldn't be trying to do this with the characters that don't need that and that the people don't want that from. And that would
Yeah,
essentially be completely making that character something different in the process of trying to elevate in the way that they believe things should be elevated.
exactly. Like watching the trailer, if it was just a clip of Aaron Pierre, I would think it was Rebel Ridge. I wouldn't even think it was Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
I would think it was the film he was in, Rebel Ridge. It looks like something. It it looks like Westworld. Like it doesn't even look like a Green Lantern show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And I have things in a bit different order, but actually it makes more sense to transition over to the Supergirl trailer, the most recent one. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna record something in addition to this episode with Bree and A, because we of course read Supergirl One of Tomorrow, the comic, on this very podcast. So um, there's just gonna be some insight that they would have in addition to the what we're about to say, that I want to make sure we record. But we got another trailer, and I am very excited for this movie. And this trailer, for me, was much better than the last trailer. The last trailer was
mhm,
okay, but
yeah,
it didn't give enough of the story, and visually, it didn't look the most interesting,
yeah.
especially in comparison to the comic. I believe last time we talked about it, I sent you images from the comic, and it's beautiful and colorful,
Stunning.
and it's very stunning with art by Bill K. Everly. And the movie was nothing like that. It still isn't nearly colorful enough. But it looks
Yeah,
better, and they actually express more of like what the story's going to be about in this trailer in a way that has me excited about the changes that they're making to the story to adapt it to this universe. But so far, it's one of the more one to one like comic book adaptations I think we've seen so far from
Okay.
either DC or Marvel, and I'm really loving just what they're doing and how they're making subtle changes to have it work in this universe. Because in the comic, Supergirl was a much more established character, whereas in this is her more towards the beginning of her career. So they're having her, even though I think she might even low key be older in this story than she is in the comic. She's still early in her career though, and they're making her more of a like she's burying her sorrows in um various substance abuse, mostly alcohol. It seems like in this versus in the comic she just turned 21 and she just went off to some place with a red sun so that she wouldn't have superpowers so that she can get drunk. And it was her kind of like having an instance of drowning her sorrows. She just, hit a big milestone. All of her family's dead. She brings the only family she has left, her dog, and gets drunk, and then she's back off to be responsible and be a superhero. Whereas in this, it seems like she's constantly doing this. Like this is a regular thing. And it's playing directly into her very tragic backstory. What did you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it was a good trailer. I do agree. It's not the most colorful looking film in the world, but I do think that stylistically it is cool. I do wish that it did kind of match, kind of, kind of again like cosmic weirdness of the frames that y'all showed me. But I do think that the costume design and also, yeah, the backstory, it looks very cool. I get more in my comic book reading bag because yeah, a lot of the stuff y'all have been reading is very sick, and I like what DC's been doing and how they've been experimenting. But yeah, overall, I think it looks cool. Looks like a cool sci-fi film that happens to have Supergirl in it, or Superwick, because we care about dogs on this podcast. Um, but yeah, overall, that's my main assessment of the trailer.
Yeah, it very much is John Wick. F somebody killed Supergirl's dog,
Right,
or in this case, he's injured and she's trying to save him. But yeah,
right.
yeah, it's
I think,
the visuals
yeah,
are especially disappointing after seeing Project Hail Mary, because
yeah,
that movie makes space as colorful as a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy does.
mhm,
Yeah,
yeah, and it just, yeah, and this film, it just looks very, I don't know. Some of the frames, it just look like, yeah, just different shades of gray.
yeah, just very gray and brown, very like early 2000s video game.
Yeah, very Metal Gear 4.
For sure,
Yeah, RE5.
absolutely,
They
yeah,
put the, oh, yeah, they had the RE5 filter on it. That's what
absolutely.
it looks like. Yeah,
Put that Metal Gear Solid 3 piss filter on there.
yeah.
Moving on to Masters of the Universe. We got another trailer, and it continues to look surprisingly good. And I
Mhm.
thank the gods every day that it's not the isekai that I thought it was based on early set photos. The world of Eternia looks awesome. The costume design is amazing and very show accurate, and the action looks really good as well. Also, I think like at the beginning of the trailer, they replaced the lion and the MGM logo with a battle cat, and
Yeah.
that was a nice touch. Are you interested in this at all?
Um, I I'm vaguely initiated with Masters of the Universe. Not like deeply knowledgeable, but I am aware of the importance of it. And I'm gonna be honest, this trailer, even the first trailer, I thought it was good. But yeah, I was kind of nervous about it being an isekai as well, and just like an average man gets teleported into this world and he becomes a hero. I was like, it's just gonna be He-Man. Time I got reincarnated as a slime. I was a bit nervous about that, but seeing more of the story, seeing that like he is from that planet and that he's from that realm and that it's about him reclaiming his story, I think that that's far more interesting than just blonde guy gets teleport truck coon gets a blonde guy and teleports him to a new planet. So this is far more interesting for me. And I agree. I'll be honest, I wish that the colors that was in this Masters of the Universe trailer were some of the colors that were in Supergirl.
For sure.
Like,
Very visually, it is Masters of the Universe, and I love that. I love that they
yeah,
managed to make this look like the cartoon and the action figures as much as they did.
right. Because it's just a certain type of vibe. Like, there's like I don't know what to put my finger on, but the same vibe I get from Masters of the Universe is the same vibe I get from Doom for some reason. I don't know. It's just kind of like this medieval, but distinctly 80s and rock inspired.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's coming through in a visual language. And yeah, it just looks good. Like it's a good looking film and it captures that Flash Gordon esque 60s, 70s comic look. Like it's capturing
Hmm.
that that it's translating the pulpy, very bright and flashy style, but doing it within a modern visual effects context.
Yeah. That
And I think
almost,
it looks great.
yeah, that makes me want to see a modern Flash Gordon, honestly.
Same. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
sick.
But you're moving
Yeah.
on to Dune Part 3. This trailer
Yeah.
was incredible.
Uh,
The music is so good, especially the chanting by Paul Atreides himself, Timothy Chalamet. It's so good, and Paul Atreides as a whole is such an interesting and complex character, and I cannot wait to see where they go with him. What did you think of this trailer?
mm. First, I will say I've not seen any of the Dune films, which is wild,
None of
and I need
them,
to fix it.
really.
I have not seen a Denis Villeneuve film. Like I haven't seen Blade Runner or
Yeah, I've
any.
seen
Yeah,
Blade
I
Runner
want to.
2099, bro.
I
No,
haven't
it's
seen Blade
crazy.
Runner.
I've seen Blade Runner
Yeah.
2099. I want to rewatch it again, but only after I watch for the very first time the first Blade Runner because I've not seen Blade Runner.
Oh, first Blade Runner is one of those joints where I would stop and then start and then start and then stop just repeatedly. But yeah, I have not seen the Dune films, and yeah, I mean, one, they visually they look great, and the score is crazy, and that's how I feel about this trailer. Um, when I saw Project Hail Mary in IMAX, they showed the trailer for Dune, and yeah, it just like yeah, it just teleports you. Like it's just pure sci-fi imagination on the screen.
It just takes you to
Eh,
Arrakis.
No, exactly. Like it's massive looking. Like it's just a very yeah, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very excited for this. I hope that they put parts one and two back in theaters and IMAX before this comes
that's what I
out.
hope too.
Because
'Cause
the first one came out during the pandemic, so I didn't see that in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters; it was awesome, but I didn't see it in IMAX. Back then, I was an IMAX hater. It wasn't until Sinners that I became a believer. So
oh, okay.
um, I want to see them both again in IMAX. And if I do
Yeah.
it, I don't know if I could do a double feature. I feel like I might be too tired for that. But 'cause that's 6 hours of movie right there. That's a lot. But
Yeah.
I
That's what I've been okay.
no, I'm just saying I want to see those in theaters again.
Yeah. That's and since I haven't seen them, I've been waiting for this hypothetical day where they bring the films back to IMAX so I can experience them the way that they were supposed to be seen. Like that's how I want to see the Dune films.
But if they don't,
Same.
you got to watch
Yeah,
them so you can see the new one in IMAX.
I do. Yeah, which is what my plan is. I want to watch the first two. One of my homies, he lives in LA, so he has like the 70 millimeter like actual film projection IMAX. he pre-ordered his ticket already to go see it, so
Damn,
he's locked in.
that's crazy.
Exactly. He already got the ticket.
I
Yeah.
uh, damn, what was I about to say? Oh, I think it's you're gonna have a better time watching them both together because I feel like when I watched the first Dune by itself, I didn't enjoy it as much until I rewatched it before I went to go see the second one in theaters. I think I literally the day of sat down, rewatched it. By the time I finished the first movie, I went and saw the second one in theaters, which is cool. And I think you'll enjoy the first movie more watching the second movie immediately afterwards. Where I feel like the first movie, it's a bit slow, it's a lot of setup, but having the payoff immediately because you'll be able to watch the second one immediately is gonna make it a lot more enjoyable. Whereas I had to watch it a second time to fully enjoy the first one.
Okay.
But yeah, this is they're being advertising this movie as the epic conclusion to at the very least Denis Villeneuve's trilogy of films. But I have no doubt that WB will milk this franchise for all it's got. They already have a show that's decent. It's not the best, but I enjoy it.
Okay.
On HBO. But as Denny moves on, uh, specifically to James Bond, which I'm very excited for. I think we talked about it a little bit. I'm a very big James Bond fan. I'm currently in the middle of watching through all of the movies from the beginning. I've gotten through all of the Sean Connery ones, and I'm on the first non Sean Connery one, which I'm actually gonna watch later tonight. What is it?
With the George Lazenby joint?
What is it? In Her Majesty's Secret Service is the one I'm watching
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I love those movies, especially Thunderball. We've had this conversation before. Thunderball's crazy,
Yeah.
but I can't help but think about comics. I'm like, if Denis Villeneuve made a comic book movie, what characters would fit his like directing style? And
He is under WB. Yeah.
in addition to Dune, he's also directed Sicario and Blade Runner, as we've talked about. But
Mm.
it's the Dune movie specifically that leads me to believe that he would be the perfect director for a New Gods movie.
Mm.
And you may be wondering, who are the New Gods? The New Gods are a group of characters created by Jack, the King Kirby, who are like an evolved race of immortals, um, which the character Darkseid is a part of. And I think that Denny's large scale sci fi chops would be very well suited to the space opera that is the New Gods. And yeah, I feel like he would make a great New Gods movie. If he ever wanted to work on a comic book movie, it should be that.
I'm looking at wow.
Either that or have him bring the Eternals back and make people like him. I'd like that movie a lot, but I know a lot of people didn't. But I love that movie, and I need the Eternals back.
Oh, you love the Eternals?
I like the Eternals a lot.
Mm.
Still to
Yeah,
this day, one of the best live action depictions of super speed in anything
Oh, yeah,
ever.
for sure.
Nothing comes close.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But yeah, Dune Part 3 comes out December 18th, later this year. So I'm very excited for that. But I think,
I looked up the New Gods just now. This is wild looking.
yeah, New Gods are cool.
So are they kind of like an Eternals adjacent type
They
thing?
very much are. I forget which came first, but Jack Kirby literally created both of them. And what happened was he created one and got taken off the book, so he went to the other company and created the other. But I forget which came first. Like, let me look it up. Let me look up which came first because I think it might have been the New Gods and Darkseid. But either Thanos is based off of Darkseid or Darkseid is based off of Thanos. I can't remember which came first.
Let's see.
He appeared in an Iron Man comic first. I didn't know that.
Oh, Thanos?
Yes, he appeared in an Iron Man comic first, and
Out of all comics.
was it Darkseid appeared in a Superman comic first. He was originally a Superman villain.
The 70s?
Yeah, 70s was Darkseid.
Okay.
When was Thanos? Thanos was also 70s. Yeah, it was 73 versus 70, so Darkseid came first. So I assume the New Gods also came first.
Got you.
But yeah, I need to read Jack Kirby's New Gods. I heard that's really good. But I read the most recent New Gods comic. Really good stuff from Rom V.
Okay.
But yeah, New Gods are cool.
Okay.
But next, in trailers, we just got a couple more trailers left. And the first is a big one. Very long discussion coming with this one. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. The day before the full trailer dropped, Tom Holland announced that it would be dropped piecemeal by like content creators, and it was annoying as hell. And it sucks that Marvel and Sony can get away with this bullshit because of how popular the character is, because that shit sucked. All that aside, the trailer altogether was awesome, and I can't wait.
Yeah,
It sucks. I don't understand this. Nobody else does this. Why is this trailer only in 1080p? You cannot watch the trailer in
yeah,
4K anywhere. And it's
no
front
idea.
every other trailer. You watch any other trailer for any big blockbuster movie, they immediately release a 4K version of it. This trailer is only in 1080p. I want to see this trailer in all of its 4K glory on my big ass
Yeah,
TV. Okay, what's going
right.
on? But
Yeah, I want to see all of the visual effects paint outs.
exactly. All that aside, though, there's so much to unpack here. We see Peter at rock bottom, as he should be, after the
Yeah.
events of No Way Home. With
People were like,
yes,
yes.
exactly, we're all cheering. He nobody remembers him, including his former girlfriend and his best friend. Uh, and he's seemingly drowning his sorrows in superheroics, which may be the cause of his powers mutating. Um, which may be the result, which may result in him unlocking organic webbing, is what it seems like in the trailer, and some other new powers. Because at one point we see his eyes turn red, and I don't know what that's about. Um,
Right.
and I predict that he's probably gonna end up like fully mutating into Man Spider, the like 6 armed, like actually like hairy spider version that he turns into in Spider-Man the animated series. I predict
Right.
that's gonna happen at some point in this movie. He's gonna fight the Hulk,
Like,
and it's gonna be cool.
and it's gonna be. I was like wondering. I was like, are they really gonna do it?
Yeah, and speaking of Hulk, Bruce Banner's in this. It looks like he's teaching at the college that Peter's going to, and Peter's going to him
Mhm.
for help with his mutating problem, since he's like the best geneticist on the planet.
Right.
But outside of those conflicts with him having nobody in his life anymore, and the mutations, we see a lot of villains, starting with two villains that we'll likely only see in a montage from what happens in the past 4 years of superheroing, because this takes place 4 years after the last movie, I believe. We see Tarantula and Boomerang in these shots that mimic very specific comic book covers. One of them, his very first comic book appearance in Amazing Fantasy, I think 15, and then
Right.
another one that's based off of, I think, like the first issue of what's his name, Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run. Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, great shots, and the costume. This costume looks so good,
Oh,
especially in those
well,
shots. So bright and beautiful. I'm so glad they kept that costume. I was so afraid they were going to change
me
it.
too.
It's
Yeah.
it looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it competes with Amazing Spider-Man too.
Yeah, it's a good costume. We also see the Punisher, and it seems like him and Spider Man already know each other. They have a rapport, and I love when Spider Man and the Punisher hate each other. I love it so much.
Mm.
I love it more when Spider Man beats the shit out of Punisher because he stands no chance, and it's always great. Um,
Yeah.
and we finally get Michael Mando as Scorpion after almost 10 years
Yeah.
of him.
They've been teasing it forever.
After him being teased at the end of Homecoming in 2017, it is 2026. We're almost halfway through this year. And I hope he's well utilized, because there's a lot of villains in this, and we've waited so long for him. We also hear Keith David's voice narrating about like spiders going through metamorphosis, and some people assume that it's Dr. Kirk Connors, aka the Lizard. But it's been almost confirmed, I think, that the Jackal, another evil scientist that mutates into an animal-like creature, will appear in this film. So that's who I think Keith David is playing. We also know that Tombstone will be in this movie, played by Krondon, who voiced Tombstone in Into the Spider-Verse, and also played a very similar villain in Black Lightning, in Tobias Whale, which I don't know if you've seen clips of Tobias Whale from Black Lightning,
Nah,
but he was a
nah.
problem. And you gotta look, you gotta watch this. I'm gonna send some of those to you, where he is just being the most like racist against his own kind person on the face of planet Earth. It is hilarious. And
Yeah.
the things he says in this CW show, mind you, is crazy. You're like, how did they let this man say this on public television?
Oh, it's like, is it Uncle Ruckus level or
It is
something?
Uncle Ruckus Loki. But yeah,
Okay.
We also see Spider-Man fighting red-clad ninjas who could be none other than the Hand, the secret ninja organization that often faces off against Daredevil. And there is no way in hell, no pun intended, that he is not showing up in this movie because of that.
Yeah.
um, you don't do the Hand without Daredevil. They're Daredevil villains. And I assume Born Again Season 2 is going to tie into this movie somehow.
Mm.
And lastly, we have Tremel Tillman, who's reportedly playing William Metzger, who is going to be the head of the Department of Damage Control, which is the main thing that has people believing that Sadie Sink, who's playing a character in this movie, is going to be specifically playing Sadie Sink from Stranger Things fame,
Right.
is,
Yeah.
is specifically going to be playing one of the OG X-Men,
Jean
Jean
Grey.
Grey. Because William
Yeah.
Metker's claim to fame is a storyline where he kidnaps Jean Grey. So I feel like you don't pull this obscure character out of nowhere for no reason.
Right.
And there's a shot where we see a character that looks like Sadie Sink strapped to a chair. After his character specifically says, "We are faced with a danger that we can't control." And just before he says that, we see a group of soldiers being mind controlled. So,
Mm.
this could all be hearsay, but dare
Yeah.
I hope that this is the beginning of the X-Men in the MCU.
Yeah.
The movie is being directed by Daniel Destincred, who directed Shang-Chi and some episodes of Wonder Man. I was like one of the leads on that show. And those are two of the best Marvel projects post Endgame. You got to watch Wonder Man. Wonder Man's so good.
That-
Plus, he's brought back Jackie Chan's stunt team from Shang-Chi to work on this.
Oh, that's tough. Cool.
And Tom Holland also trained in jiu-jitsu for this movie. So the action is going to be fire, especially if
Oh yeah.
Daredevil is involved, which the action in
That's
Daredevil
cool.
Born Again has been great.
Cool.
My fear is that they might be doing too much.
Yeah. This is kind of giving the same vibe that Superman did. Like how it was like, how can we illustrate what a day looks like in this dude's life? So it's a giant like kaiju, and then like there's pocket universes, and then there's also these other superheroes like that are part of a team. Then he has a Kara is a character, and then I was about to say Daily Bugle, the Daily Planet exists. It's like it's just all of these things being thrown at you, and that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. Like it almost seems like, yeah, it's just a, even though it's not literally a day, but like this is the life of Spider-Man, and these are all of the things that he faces in a week's time span. And I think that it could either be very cool or it could lead to Spider-Man 3. Um,
I
and
I want to
that's
hope
kind of
that most of those characters are going to be being set up for future movies,
right,
like Tombstone and like I don't expect the Jackal to be a major villain in this. So I expect those two characters to maybe be set up for another film, and instead, like I think the Hand might be like a big part of things, but they might also just be set up for the next season of Daredevil.
right.
Um, and probably Scorpion and the Department of Damage Control guy is probably going to be like the main villains in some way. Probably, I'm assuming. We'll see.
Right.
But
Like,
next, or sorry, we can say
no, yeah. Which person would be the main villain again?
the William Metzger, played by
Got you.
Tremel Tillman.
Got you.
Yeah. But last trailer we have is Punisher, One Last Kill. Um, and this will be a special presentation similar to Werewolf by Night and Guardians of the Galaxy, the Christmas special. Meaning that it's gonna be like an hour-long TV special on Disney Plus. And in the trailer, we see Frank being haunted by his former comrades in the military as he goes on another good old classic Punisher killing spree for what he considers to be the greater good. And it's being written in part by the Punisher himself, John Bernthal. And
Really? That I
yes,
didn't know.
and a lot of people are assuming that, of course, the one last kill isn't referring to a literal last kill, but, like an addiction where he claims that every kill is going to be the last one, but of course it never is. It's that slippery slope that people talk about. And yeah, this is I'm excited for this. I didn't watch the show. Show didn't really interest me. I heard it wasn't great in comparison to like Daredevil, where he was like the best part of Daredevil season 3. But I hear the show was cool, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this, especially since it's on the shorter side. It's not going to be like a full season of television, so I imagine they're going to condense everything, all the best parts of Punisher into one single, just like hour-long special, which is going to be cool. I imagine it'll
Yeah.
probably be like John Wick but Punisher, which low key, you get the people who work on John Wick to make a Punisher movie. I'm in. I'm in
Yeah.
for that. That sounds fire.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Also, I'm looking at the filmmaker. Um, this filmmaker made the film King Richard.
Really?
Yeah, so he has an interesting filmography. So I
Is
think
that
that
the director or a writer?
I'm the director.
Yeah, yeah. That he's also writing it too, alongside John Bernthal. So yeah, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, John Bernthal, he really loves this character, and having him write it himself is going to be interesting.
Right.
See if that leads to him actually getting another show would be cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of
Yeah.
which, sorry, what were you gonna say?
This is the first time it's been an actor and writer doing dual duties at Marvel.
I think so. Well, no, I think technically, literally the very first Iron Man movie.
Oh yeah, true. Fair
Happy
point.
Hogan.
Yeah, yeah, Happy Hogan. Yeah,
So
like
technically,
one
second
second.
time.
Yeah, this is the second time thinking about it now.
Continuing on the Marvel train, Daredevil Born Again.
Mm.
Less than a year after the last season, we have season 2. We're so back on multiple levels. Real TV schedules are back, and Daredevil is back because with none of the rewrites after a bunch of fan and actor complaints from last season, the story is much more cohesive and all the better for it. And this season does not hold back on the ICE parallels with the AVTF, aka the Anti Vigilante Task Force, created by New York City Mayor Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, who is very much Trump like in a lot of ways in this show. And the AVTF aren't just arresting vigilantes, but anyone Fisk doesn't like, or anyone the officers of the task force doesn't like, which often, of course, ends up being people of color. And yeah, sending them out, they're sent off to just some undisclosed black site for an indefinite amount of time. Like I said, the ICE parallels are not hidden or subtle whatsoever.
Okay.
I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people who try to pretend like they don't see it, but it's there. And it could be a bit of a tough watch sometimes, but stories that mirror real life like this are very necessary to keep people's eyes wide open. But in more positive things about the series, the suit looks much better in black, mostly because it's a solid color. They keep trying to break up. A lot of the MCU costuming does this, where they try to break up the colors, and I'm like, no. Sometimes a character's costume is just a solid color, and that's all it should be. It should just be all black or all red. And it being all black, it finally has the double D logo on the chest in red. It looks great. And part of the reason it looks so good is because it's more skin tight now, whereas before it was too padded and armor like, which like Daredevil doesn't need armor. Like that's weird to me. And now it's much tighter to the skin, and he has kind of like this vest over his chest, so it looks more like he's wearing a skin tight suit with like a thinner type of bulletproof vest. Well, I feel like that works much better for this very agile, acrobatic, martial arts focused character.
Right.
And yeah, the costume just looks way better. Um, Fixes a lot of my complaints. And hopefully, when he goes back to the red suit, it is all red, no black, except for maybe the logo being black, so that you can actually see it on top of the red. Um, but yeah, overall, the show has been great. 5 episodes in out of 10, or out of 8 so far. I wish it was 10, but yeah, 5 episodes in out of 8. It's very good. I'm very excited to see where it goes. It's just, I'm interested to see how this slots into the rest of the MCU, because so far there's no conversation about Spider-Man, because I think they can't, because of Sony, they can't like bring Spider-Man into the show. But also there's like a dozen superheroes in New York, so it's like
Right.
how is this happening? And Daredevil was the only one dealing with it. So I'm curious to
Yeah.
see, will other people other than the confirmed Jessica Jones show up in this? Are we fine? Are we? I think there might have been leaked set photos of Luke Cage and Iron Fist on set, but I'm
Ooh.
not sure if those were real or not, and maybe those were just like set photos from the previous like shows that they've been in together,
Right.
the Defenders and such. Um, but I want to hope it's real because they're coming back. They're coming back.
They have to.
There's you don't bring back Jessica Jones and then not bring back her husband Luke Cage, and then eventually we're
Exactly.
gonna get Iron Fist. And my hope is that Daniel Destin Cretton
Oh, please.
does something with
Please.
Iron Fist
Please.
because
It needs
it
it.
was never the actor's fault that show was bad.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think that show was as bad as people say. I kind of liked I low key kind of liked how bad it was in some cases. It's like one of those shows that's so bad that's kind of fun, but
Yeah.
it's not good. I'm not gonna pretend like it's good. Um, but it wasn't the actor's fault, and they should definitely bring him back and just do better.
Yeah.
And I'm Luke Cage is coming back, and in the comics, the way the storyline goes is that Luke Cage becomes the mayor after Fisk. So I assume that's probably where they're gonna go. By the end of this season, or maybe next season, Luke Cage steps into the office, which would be very fun and a great way to bring him into this universe.
Right.
And uh, he's gonna be the Mom Donnie of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, he'll be the Marvel Mom Donnie. Yeah.
That'll be great.
That'd
Very
that'd be sick.
very excited to see where the story goes.
Yeah.
They want to spoil me so bad. They keep showing trailers with Jessica Jones. I'm like, I don't want to see it. Stop trying to. I don't want to know. The episode
Exactly.
comes out next week. Leave me alone. Why you keep trying to? I don't need a preview for the episode. I'm already watching the show. Leave me alone. I'm gonna keep watching
Right.
the show.
Right.
If the show itself isn't gonna convince me to keep watching it, then I wasn't gonna keep watching it to begin with. I don't need previews. Leave me be. Stop trying to spoil
Right.
the next episode for me.
No, actually,
Like
yeah. It's
like
like
the
I'm
guy.
already here.
Yeah,
You already got me.
it's like the end of Dragon Ball Z back in the day. Straight up
Yeah.
spoiling the next episode at the end of the
Right.
episode. Leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. I remember for Captain America and the Winter Soldier, they would do the exact same thing, and it would be like a next week on.
But yeah, see now, where do we go after this? Is a good question. Do we go to Project Hail Mary? Do we talk about one battle after another? You haven't seen it. I guess I'll just give my spoiler-free thoughts on one battle after another.
Okay.
And they're similar to Daredevil in a very specific way, in the sense that it can be a bit of a tough watch in the year of our Lord 2026 with the world we live in.
Mm,
But
right.
like I said with Daredevil, films like this are necessary, no matter how uncomfortable they make you feel, because you should feel uncomfortable. We should all feel uncomfortable with the Nazi ran world we live in,
Right.
and should be doing everything within our power to fight for and enact change, rather than making you feel bad about the state of the world. This movie should light a fire of revolution within you.
Right.
And yeah, I I had some more specific notes about some of the criticisms this movie had. You've probably heard some of them. There's some criticisms around mostly the way the black women are portrayed in this movie, where maybe they're not as fleshed out as they should be. But I want to say too much. I want you to see it yourself. Then we can talk about
Okay.
that. So I'll save that for another time. I liked it though. I give it a 4
Okay.
out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
So I did like
Got
it
it.
a lot, despite its flaws. I guess we could talk a little bit about Project Hail Mary. I didn't take any notes, so we're just gonna have a free flow conversation, but not too much, because as
Okay.
predicted, as I expected, this episode's going too long. And we got more to talk about, and I'm gonna try to keep that short. But Project Hail Mary, good movie,
Yeah.
great movie. Like you said earlier, Phil Lord, Chris Miller. It's Phil Lord, Chris Miller, right? Because sometimes I say it backwards, and I say Phil Miller, Chris Lord.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But
Phil
yeah,
Lord. Good.
Phil Lord, Chris Miller, very diverse filmography with the Spider Verse movies, and they did Lego Movie too, right? And
Yep.
like you said, Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs, and then they have a select like live action films as well, like this. They're just like man, so diverse in their um filmmaking portfolio. And this is just another incredible notch in that. With Ryan Gosling, man, Ryan Gosling is always great.
Yeah.
He's good at playing this specific kind of character as well. This
Right.
like almost not even because the character itself isn't incompetent, but he like gives off incompetence despite the fact that he very much isn't. and he plays that character very well. He plays a very similar character in the movies in with Russell Crowe, the bad guys,
Oh,
so
the
some the nice
nice
guys.
guys.
Yeah, he plays a very similar character in that. He's very good at playing that kind of character.
Mhm.
And yeah, this and he's. I mean, for the most, I mean, the movie's like 90
It's him.
90% him. It's like
Yeah.
that's an exaggeration, but it's mostly him. It's like 60% him.
Mhm.
And I mean, let's just get to a few spoiler free thoughts because like there's a very specific aspect of the movie that we can't talk about without just spoiling it. So let's start
Mhm.
spoiler free. What's your spoiler free thoughts just to start?
Yes. As far as spoiler-free thoughts, yeah, everything you're saying. Great notch in Phil Lord and Chris Miller's filmography. I think it's one of those films that really just I'm always down for a science is cool movie, and this is that. Like this is science is cool, space is cool. The idea of the unknown and exploration is cool. And it's just I don't know, it just has a sense of wonder to it that I think is very just infectious. Yeah, it's just very yeah,
Yeah, the main character is a
yeah.
school teacher,
It's
and
school.
you definitely feel that in the movie itself, and like you said, and how it's kind of like embracing this sense of wonder and want to learn, um, which I feel like people in that field tend to have. They want to learn. They want to sometimes teach, like he is, and you very much feel that in this movie, and it's just visually, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, visually, like goodness gracious. Which before getting on to the visuals, like what you're saying, and you said it perfectly, like he is a teacher and he wants to instill wonder in, just not just his students, but to the people around him. And like Andy Weir has kind of been going around on a tour talking about how like and I don't want to completely misattribute his words, but like him talking about art and like art inherently being political and how like he's kind of tired of that being put onto his work. But uh, education is under attack, and education of the sciences is definitely under the attack, especially like that resource being given to children. Like we had our Bill Nyes. I mean, we have our museums growing up, and a lot of that is under threat of closure. So, like, therefore, wondering is a transgressive act.
Also,
Imagine, it's like,
s-
yeah,
space programs have been such a highly political
yo,
like field of research and study since
dude,
inception. So for him to, like you said, maybe that's not 100% what he said or what he meant, but to even say anything
yeah,
similar to that is kind of wild.
it's kind of wild. Like the reason we went to space is the Cold War. That is like AFK ran on we're gonna send a dude to space. He ran on
And
that.
one could argue the great leaps we're making in space right now at Artemis 2 is a distraction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's still, some people will always say like, space travel is a waste of resources and time. When I'm not 100% knowledgeable in this. From my understanding, it actually doesn't use as much resources as people think it does, and more often than not, it results in a lot of incredible, like technological and scientific and medical advancements.
No,
So
yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
this is like I'd much rather our money be used on that than the military. Like divert all the military funds to NASA. I want to go to
Yo,
space.
that would be tight. The space industrial complex sounds, hey,
Hey, somebody needs to make
how
that movie.
right. Yeah, somebody needs to make that. But yeah, like everything you're saying, going back to the Cold War and especially to now with SpaceX and everything Bezos has been doing as well, like space is highly politicized. And instead of it just being the new frontier of possibilities and imagination, space has become the new gold rush. Similar in a way that AI is a gold rush now. Like, I mean, these folks are talking about actively like building factories on other planets to offshore like Yeah, it's so
The
and they're
one,
dead
yeah,
serious.
one of the, for better or worse, things about space travel is AI farms would be better in space than on the planet using up our water for cooling and instead being cooled by the vacuum of space. And that is a thing that they're trying to do. And I'm like, speed that up. Put more money into that because
Yeah,
we need
yeah,
these AI farms basically off our planet and using up our water.
right. So it's just like, yeah, space is inherently political and always has been. That's the first thing.
And this whole movie
Uh,
is about something that we'd like to think would happen, but I feel like every passing year has proven wouldn't happen, which is the governments of the world coming together to stop the sun from being destroyed. Which
mm,
is that's just the main conceit of the movie, but I guess there's a slight spoiler, so we're getting into spoiler territory now. So full
get
spoiler
that.
alert. We've gotten past the initial
Let's
thing.
do it.
I'll put a spoiler alert before I talk about the sun being destroyed because that is a bit of a
Right.
spoiler. Um,
Yeah.
and that's the movie. The movie is there's these weird particles that are eating the sun, and they are trying to figure out how to prevent that because otherwise, in 30 years, a lot of people will die, and the world will just descend into chaos. So they're sending people into space, and the movie is told uh what's the word, you probably have the better language for it, and like the order in which the story is told. Like, how would you describe that?
Oh, I would say it's asynchronous.
Asynchronous, that's a good word. Where you go back and forth between what is happening after this character played by Ryan Gosling is sent into space. Remind me of that character's name,
Ooh, goodness, I'm blanking.
because they got call him by
Uh,
his last name the entire movie. You like Loki
yeah,
don't find out his first name till the very end, or
right.
I didn't realize what his first name was until he said it at the very end.
Rylan Grace, but yeah, they just call him Grace.
Yeah, and he's sent into space with two other people, a pilot and an engineer. They both unfortunately pass away in the process because they're put into an induced coma, and he's the only survivor. But he lost his memory, so he's slowly regaining his memory of like why he's there throughout the course of the movie. So there are flashbacks to everything leading up to the main story of him being out in space trying to find out why this one particular star light years away from Earth um isn't being destroyed by these particles. And along the way, he discovers another alien life form that is from a different planet who's also being affected by this, who's also trying to figure this out, who's also a scientist. And they end up working together and forming a friendship in the process of trying to save their planets. And this other alien is this like rock creature with four legs that he calls Rocky. After the character from the movies, and there's a lot of references to Rocky throughout the movie, and like the a big bulk of the movie is their friendship and him making friends with this alien, and just this is very much dare I say a hope core movie
I know for sure.
where it's
Same way
like
that Superman was. This
yeah,
is, yeah,
where it's
this is
like
Hope Core.
the governments of the world come together, work together. We meet this alien life form and we work together. And it's like, all the hope of us being good people is in this movie. And you love to see it. And I wish the world was like this movie,
Yeah,
where we all were like, yeah, AI is cool. Let's work together to make it, not destroy the world and still be useful
exactly.
and not steal from people. That would be cool.
Right.
Because it's like there's so many positive ways AI could be used, but people just want money.
Yeah.
So they don't care about that. They don't care if it destroys the planet. They don't care if it steals from you. They just want money, and it sucks.
uh,
But in this
Right.
movie, they want to save people. Everybody's being forced to work together, and it's awesome.
Mhm. And yeah, that alone is Hope Core. Just the idea of like the powers that be putting everything aside for the greater good. Like that sci-fi. Not even talking about space. That sci-fi. Um, yeah. Uh, a government looking towards an educator for the answers. Like, hey, we aren't experts in this field. We trust you.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like
A
that is
thing that we very much
sci-fi.
do not see today It's just the
Right.
government trusting the experts in their field. It's insane,
Right.
very insane.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, you hit it on the head. That is Hope Core for sure. Cause we're currently we're in the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And
just the relationship between Rocky and Grace is very very fun to watch. Just see them slowly become like the best of friends in this process
yeah, it's cool.
of doing this. Like, I'm sure there's a combination of real science and pseudoscience, as stories like this usually are. That is just
Yeah.
very fun to watch and to to learn. You know, like we talk about, he's an educator. He's teaching us. He's teaching us. We're
Right.
learning things as we watch this, and it's a good time. And
Right.
I love a good movie that teaches you things. I
Yeah.
wish Mario taught you things, but unfortunately, it's slop. But anyway, it's different conversation.
Unfortunately, yeah.
um, but
Even my students were like, "Oh, this movie sucks."
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad they have taste.
Yeah, I'm glad they have taste too.
I'm glad the kids of today have taste.
Right. Kids are fed up with Illumination. Yeah.
Loki saw a trailer for Illumination movie that kind of looked cool though. There was a Minions movie. It's called like Minions and the Monsters. Something like that actually was kind of fun.
Okay.
Definitely looks like a fun kids movie. I might Loki watch that.
Okay. Hey, I saw the Super Bowl teaser for it. It does kind of look cool. I will say,
Not
Illumination's
Yeah, I was
animation
saying
is elevated.
not every like of course not every kids movie needs to be like the most educational thing on this planet Earth. And
Yeah.
Illumination, that's just not what they do. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not
What if
looking for education. I'm looking for meaning. And there's no meaning in Mario.
now, what if out of nowhere Illumination dropped their Wally?
They
Like
will
what if
I think they will
what if
eventually. I think they're gonna get tired of people talking shit.
and they just go straight Criterion channel with it? Like, you know what? We going A24. We we going artsy.
Yeah.
That would be interesting from them.
Have you seen Mario?
I have not
Mm.
seen the first Mario, but I would be honest. I mean, visually it looked kind of cool, peaches and what have you. But the fact that they use commercial music is weird. And you were talking about that. Yeah, the fact that they use commercial music, the fact that it's just like, I'm so serious. What is the plot of the first film? Like, what is the plot?
So you could
What
ask
is
that question about both of them, and everyone would tell you there isn't one.
like? It just looks like greatest hits. It is just like,
Look, you got to listen to the review me and my friend did in the last episode because
okay,
everything you're saying we talk about. But
okay.
do you have more to say about Project Hail Mary before we move on to the Oscars?
Um, yeah, just real fast. I mean, yeah, a sci-fi film. Seeing him and Rocky. One, I love the fact that it's not a humanoid alien. I love the fact that it's not animal inspired as well. Like it Rocky looks foreign, which I think is very cool. And
Yeah, very cool.
at least at least in regards to what I imagine aliens to look like, yeah, it would be something that we can't even quantify
Yeah,
or
because the
understand.
reason he's a school teacher is because he made the claim that there are aliens that exist out there that aren't like water based, and everybody called him crazy. And
Right.
he meets an alien that isn't water based,
Exactly.
and is like very, like you said, different from any kind of aliens we usually see in fiction.
Right. Yeah. So I yeah, the character design was great. Um Also, Grace just really doing it for the love of the game. He's like, I don't even got to go back home. I just love teaching. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, again, Hope Core. Like, it's just like, I am teaching on another planet with these foreign beings and I am vibing out. Like, even if I'm not doing it with, even if I'm not teaching humans, I'm still teaching like people. I'm teaching and feeding on and like passing on something. Yeah. Like, very Hope Core, very fun. Um, and
Visuals.
yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Oh, goodness gracious. Visually is one of the most inventive. It's, space has been shown on film forever. So it's like the you would think that the gambit has been covered. But no, like what you were talking about with the incestuous thing of like same thing you were talking about with comic books and how they often eat from each other. And it's like they used to be inspired by other things, like in mythology and stuff. Then comic books just became inspired by other comic books and they started to kind of feed on themselves. Sci-fi did the same thing. Like sci-fi was greatly inspired by certain books or certain concepts and like certain sciences, and then sci-fi movies became a lore in its own. So it's like, do you belong to the Star Trek philosophy? Do you belong to the 2001 Space Odyssey philosophy? Are you more Star Wars? Like, there's, or do you subscribe to the more Ridley Scott variety of sci-fi stuff, like where it's more sci-fi horror? There's just been so many portrayals of sci-fi and of space that they kind of do regurgitate from each other. Like the film Life that came out, and I think it was a Jake Gyllenhaal. Like that film, very alien inspired. It's just so many films that kind of regurgitate space imagery, and this one is different, definitely different. I feel like it's very vibrant. The use of the camera is very cool. Like I love how they use the camera, how they play with camera angles, and like even for some of the stuff on Earth, I love how they use the camera here. Like it's just very inventive. And yeah, it's a new framework of shooting space and for space to
Yeah.
look like visually.
And I love
And
how whenever they were in the vacuum of space, there was no sound every single time
yeah,
because sound doesn't travel in space.
right. Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah,
like,
goodness gracious.
it's also trying to be, to an extent, as much as it can be with how sci-fi it is, more grounded. So it's being very beautiful and very different while still holding to kind of the realism of space to an extent. So the
Right.
beauty is coming from things that we could actually potentially see or have been
Mhm.
seen. And I think
Right.
that's really cool, managing to find that very distinct and different beauty in things that actually potentially exist.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Dijon here, and I'm going to record my review for the drama alone. So, today I was going to have on a special guest, Gigi, who is a coworker of me, Christian, and A's. But unfortunately, the timing just didn't work out. So, maybe, we'll get Gigi on another time. They always have some really good kind of just commentary on films, and they watch a lot of film and TV, and I'd love to have them on some time to talk about something. But this time things just didn't work out, so I'll be giving my solo review this time, which is a bit of a rarity on this podcast. I usually have at least one other person with me. So, the drama, let's get into it. I will, of course, start spoiler free, but I will get into some spoilers today, despite the fact that I'm recording this alone, because the main conceit of this movie just requires spoiling things later on. But like I said, I'm going to start spoiler free. Yeah, so, the drama is a movie about a married couple. Emma Hardwood, played by Zendaya, and Charlie Thompson, played by Robert Pattinson. They are engaged to be married, and the whole movie is about the lead up to the wedding itself. And the thing that the entire movie was advertised on was the fact that Zendaya's character Emma has a secret. When Charlie and Emma go on a dinner date with their married friends, Rachel, played by Alana Haim, and Mike, played by uh, Mamadou Athie, they all go around and talk about the worst things they've ever done in their life. And when it gets to Zendaya, she has a shocking secret that ends up causing a lot of strife. And you see that a lot in the trailers. And just, I'm telling you, you cannot be prepared for what it is. You can't guess what it is. It's I think it's impossible. The only way you could really know is by being spoiled. And I'm not going to do that here. Um, I liked it. I use Letterboxd, and if I were to give it a star rating, I personally go out of five, and luckily, So does Letterbox, and they allow half points, and I use half points. I would give this a solid 4 out of 5 stars. The kind of like cumulative rating at the moment, I think, is around like 7.5, somewhere between 7.5 and 80. IMDb 7.5, Rotten Tomatoes 77. It's getting, that's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but not as good as I would have expected personally. Uh, I'll have to check the letterbox. Let's see what it's doing on letterbox specifically. And letterbox is doing a 3.8, which I think is around the same percentage, basically around like 78%. So like, yeah, I think that makes sense. Close to an 80, but not quite. But for me, it's a 4. And if I were to put that in a 100 point scale, it would be around 80%. I liked it a lot. It was surprisingly funny. I don't have the best memory of when I watched that first trailer, and I think I only watched the first trailer because I was like, I'm gonna watch this. I don't need to see anything else. So I don't remember the trailer having as much comedy in it. And this movie's funny. It's real funny. Uh, Mixed in with all of the, of course, drama and the relationship drama between Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. So like, yeah, good movie. Definitely suggest checking it out if you just want a good dramedy, because that's what it is. But getting into spoilers, because there's only so much you can say about this movie without spoiling it. So, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. You have been warned. I'm going to spoil the drama. So, The Secret. What did she do? What did Emma do? What is the worst thing she's ever done? The worst thing Emma had ever done was almost commit a mass shooting, specifically a school shooting. Whoa. Holy shit. I could not have begun to guess that. I saw this opening weekend, the Saturday after it came out, as soon as I could, after the work week. And I'm glad I didn't get spoiled because I couldn't have predicted that. I didn't know what it was going to be. I was like, it can't be cheating. That's too easy. So murder, yeah, not murder, but attempted murder, and like even then, attempted murder would have been too easy too. Attempted mass murder in a very specific way that is very specific to America. I did not expect it to be so not topical, even though of course it's topical because unfortunately that is always happening today. So yeah, you know what? Maybe topical is the right word, and such a poignant film about mass shootings, and yeah, could not have predicted that, and naturally that sends several people into a spiral. Mostly Robert Pattinson, his character Charlie, her husband to be, and her best friend Rachel, played by Alana Haim, who Rachel. A lot of talking to people, and if Gigi was here, she would say the same. A lot of people found her annoying. I kind of understood where she was coming from. I do think ultimately, at the very end of the movie, and once we do get to the wedding, that's when I started to find her annoying. But everything about her before that, I got it. She has a cousin who is in a wheelchair because they are paralyzed from the waist down from surviving a school shooting specifically. And her anger is warranted. Her kind of like rethinking her friendship with Emma warranted. But how going to the wedding, which I think she maybe shouldn't have gone to the wedding, but it would have been weird because her husband was Robert Pattinson's character Charlie's best man, and he was like helping guide the wedding in a lot of ways. So I guess it was important that she came if he was coming, but like I don't know, man. I feel like at the end of the day, maybe it would have been better off if she did not go to that wedding and just let her husband go by himself. If I'm being honest, like she shouldn't have been there. That's when I started to get annoyed with her because she snitched on Haley Gates' character, or she snitched maybe to Haley Gates' character. It's hard to tell. They were whispering with each other. I don't remember the name of Haley Gates' character, but Robert Pattinson and his confusion and anger and just all the various emotions he felt due to discovering this about his future wife Emma. He cheats on her with Haley Gates' character. He asked her like, "What would you do if your partner almost committed a mass shooting?" And it's a little funny scene, and he kind of breaks down after he gets his answer, and then she before that she admits that she cheated when he asked her what's the worst thing she's ever done, and then he just. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he kind of sexually assaults her because he kind of just randomly kisses her. Now she kisses him back, and they almost have sex, but stop. but it's you know, I look at Charlie a little different because of that. But I don't know. They do kind of gloss over that a little bit. It was a bit weird. I got to look back at it actually because they were hugging beforehand. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was more. Maybe it was less kind of like random than it seemed. Maybe there was more of a gradual build up to it than I'm remembering. In my memory, it was such a shocking scene that it felt like it kind of just happened. But maybe there was more build up and mutual understanding leading into it than I'm giving it credit for. Because initially I'm like, oh, that's weird, Charlie. It was kind of strange. And then later on, her husband, because she's of course trying to pretend like she didn't almost cheat because she almost willingly had sex with him. Her boyfriend uh like walks up to Charlie at the wedding once he drunkenly basically admits cheating. Asks, hey, did you sexually assault my girlfriend? Because she of course denies that she did anything and claims that he not forced himself, but like he kissed her. So he's like, did you sexually assault my girlfriend? And I'm like, from what I saw, yeah, kinda. And then he punches it. And I'm like, yeah, he deserved that. And the whole wedding went to shit. And it was wild. That was almost more surprising, if not just as surprising as the secret, the reveal of the worst thing Emma had ever done. And of course, Robert Pattinson and Zendaya kill it both. I'm talking about Charlie a lot because Charlie's reaction is the thing that I think was the most entertaining for me. But the way Zendaya's character Emma like handles the fallout and the stress she's under with this is also, of course, incredible as well. And there's a really funny moment where I think the day after she reveals this secret, they go to their photographer for the wedding, and she's like, I'm gonna, she's talking about taking photos. He's like, yeah, so I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot your mom, I'm gonna shoot your dad, I'm gonna get you all together, I'm gonna shoot you all. And it's crazy. Uh, yeah, man. I'm trying to think what else is there to say, spoiler wise. The very end is great. It ultimately ends on a bit of a high note, all things considered. But like, yeah, I liked it a lot. Good movie, very fun movie. Uh, like I said, 4 out of 5. Go watch it. If it's still in theaters by the time you hear this, or if it's on streaming, check it out. Good movie. So
Very cool.
we're gonna end this with the Oscars, which is a lot, and we've been talking a lot. So we, of course, neither of us are gonna care about every single award.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through them, but we don't have to have a deep conversation about every single one of them. So this is kind of like whenever we do the Game Awards, where I list everything, but we're not gonna have a conversation about everything because I'm not as in the popular film bag as you are, or the like short film bag. So it's like you might have way more to say about that than I do.
It's all good.
So I hate the Game Awards does a similar thing. Whenever you're looking for like the winners after the fact, it's all listed. It's listed in order from like the big award to the least, or not even that sometimes. And it's like it's weird. So I had to reorganize it in a way that would be more exciting. So we slowly build up to the big stuff. So we're gonna start off with animated feature film. The nominees were Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Emily, or The Character of Rain, or did I write that right? I think that's right. Zootopia 2. And the winner was, of course, K-pop Demon Hunters. That doesn't surprise anybody.
No brainer. No brainer.
No brainer.
Yeah.
That's a good one. If it was up to me, there'd be some anime in there. There'd be like Chainsaw Man. That movie was so good. For costume design, you have Deborah L. Scott for Avatar Fire and Ash, Kate Howley for Frankenstein, Malgosia Terzanska for Hamnet, Miyako Belize for Monty Supreme, Ruthie Carter for Sinners, and the winner was Kate Howley for Frankenstein. It'll be a cold day in hell when Ruthie Carter is up for an Oscar for costume design, and I don't think she should have won.
Exactly. Yeah, same here.
And I've surprisingly seen 3 of those movies. So, actually, hold on. I've seen all of those movies except Hamnet. That's crazy.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Didn't think there would be any movie here where I'd seen most of the movies. Seen all of those movies except Hamnet. I need to see Hamnet.
Right.
I've heard good things. Yeah, so I've seen all those movies. I think Sinners should have won.
Yeah.
I think Sinners should have won, if only just for Smoke and Stack's costumes.
Oh yeah, those costuming was great.
Frankenstein's pretty
Yeah,
good too, though. Especially since it's a very much. I mean, they're both period pieces, but that's an older period piece.
right.
Which low key, I feel like that's a period. That's a period that we see a lot though. So low key, we don't see as much of Center's, time period. So I feel like maybe that should have won. But anyway, for makeup and hairstyling, we have Mike Hill, Jordan Samuel, and Cleona Fury for Frankenstein. Kyoto Toyokawa, Naomi Hebino, and Tadashi Nishimatsu for Kokuo. Ken Diaz, Mike Fontaine, and Shanika Terry for Sinners. Or Shunika Terry for Sinners. Kazuhiro, Glenn Griffin, and Bjorn Rabin for The Smashing Machine. Thomas Folberg and Anne Catherine Salberg for The Ugly Stepsister. And the winner was Mike Hill, Jordan Samuel, and Kalina Fury for Frankenstein, which that makes sense for hair and makeup.
Makes sense.
Frankenstein's
Yeah.
makeup was real good in that. For production design, we have Frankenstein. Production designed by Tamara Deverell. Set direction by Shane. I'm not gonna read all these. You can look that up. We have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners, and the winner was Frankenstein. Another one where I would have to give that to Sinners personally.
Yeah, the production
Though at the
design.
same time, production on Frankenstein is kind of crazy, actually. I'll take that back. Production on
Uh,
Frankenstein is kind of cool. Especially there's a scene that takes place on a ship stuck in like ice. That's pretty sick. And I'm like, how'd they do that? So
yeah.
maybe I'm not giving Frankenstein enough credit because of how much I love Sinners. For visual effects, we all know who the winner is, but I'm naming them anyway. Avatar Fire and Ash, F1,
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Why is that here? The Lost Bus
Right.
and Sinners. And the winner, of course, was Avatar Fire and Ash. If Avatar Fire and Ash didn't win, what was the
Right.
point?
Right.
What would have been the point of that movie existing? For sound design, we have F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. And the winner was F1. I almost said, of course, which isn't the case at all, but F1, which I saw that in D box. So,
Mm,
it was nice. It was great. It was a fun experience. And if
right.
that should win anything, sound design is the one. Because just like
Yeah.
we said earlier, with it's always between racing games and first person shooters that usually win, or horror games actually, best sound design in the
Right.
Game Awards. So it makes sense that a racing movie would win best sound design at the Oscars.
Right. Yeah.
For music, original score, we have Jerskin Fendrix for Begonia, Alexander Desplat for Frankenstein, Max Richter for Hamnet, Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another, Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, and the winner was Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, of course.
He's on a streak.
Of
Goodness.
course, very much so. For music original song, we have Dear Me from Diane Warren, uh, music and lyric by Diane Warren, music and lyric by Diane Warren, Nam Jong Hoon, Co. and Teddy Bark, I'd Lie to You from Sinners, music and lyric by Raphael Sadiq and Ludwig Göransson, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Vivi Verdi, music and lyric by Nicholas Pike, Train Dreams from Train Dreams, music by Nick Cave and Brian Desnier, lyric by Nick Cave. And I forgot, I think I maybe thinking deleted it when I was moving it to the winner section, but the winner that was also nominated was Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, music and lyric by EJ, Mark Sonnenblick, Jung Yu Kwak, Yu Han Lee, and Hee Dong. And that makes sense. That song broke records.
Yeah.
That is fair. Very
Yeah.
fair. As good
It was
as I
an
as
epic
good as
song.
I lied to you is, I do
Right.
listen to Golden more often. Actually, I don't know if
Mm,
that's true. I think it's equal, but Golden broke records.
yeah.
Because I for a second I was like, maybe that's true, but I'm remembering that the week after I saw Sinners, I did not stop listening to I Lied to You. Where there might have been some breaks between Golden, but I did listen to Golden a lot, and I still listen to Golden a lot.
Yeah. Golden was one of the biggest pop songs of the year.
For sure.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know what it was, but it was like first hugely successful song by an animated trio since like Alvin and the Chipmunks or something like that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
For casting, we have Nina Gold for Hamnet, Jennifer Venditti for Marty Supreme, Gabrielle Nominees for Secret Agent, Francine Maisler for Sinners, and the winner was Cassandra. Another one that I maybe mistaken deleted the nominee, but put them in the winner. Cassandra Kulukandis for One Battle After Another. Uh,
Mm,
Um, you know, I'd be curious to learn why this is the case, but
okay.
a lot of famous casting directors that I can think of that I know of are women. I wonder what
Yeah.
that's about. That's interesting. It's very interesting that like I feel like casting directors are more often than not the ones that you hear about are women, in my experience at least. And I
That
wonder
is
why
true.
that is specifically. Like, what about women specifically makes them the best casting directors? You know what?
Right.
I can think of a great many reasons. Think about it for like 1 second longer. I can think of a great many reasons.
Let's say too many pop up.
I could think of too many good reasons. All of them have to do with a little thing called Me Too. Um, probably women are way more trusted when it comes to casting people than men
Yeah.
are. The
Yeah.
moment I thought about it for 1 second longer, that makes all the sense in the world.
It just all adds up.
For actress in a supporting role, we have Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value. Um, Inga, Jesus, this is a name. I'm gonna try my best. Inga Ibsdotter Lilise or Lias in Sentimental Value. Wumi Masaku in Sinners. Tiana Taylor in One Bad Off Another. And the winner was another one I keep. See, this is you could tell it was after my back was hurting
Oh
because I
yeah.
made a bunch of mistakes. And the
Right.
winner that I forgot the list in the nominees is Amy Madigan in Weapons. Well, she was really good in that movie. You've seen Weapons, right?
I've not seen
You've not
Weapons.
seen
No.
Weapons. You gotta see Weapons. Weapons is good.
Yeah.
And for actress in the leading role, we have Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson in Song Song Blues, Renate Rainsby in Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone in Begonia. And the winner was Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. For actor in a supporting role, we have Benicio del Toro in One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value, and the winner was Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. His character sucked. Great actor, though. For actor in a leading role, we have Timothy Chalamet in March Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, and Wagner Moura in The Secret Agent. And the winner was Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. He played two characters. It'd be crazy if he didn't win.
Right.
For writing, for specifically adapted screenplay, we have Begonia, screenplay by Will Tracy, Frankenstein, screenplay by Guillermo del Toro, Hamnet, screenplay by Chloe Zhao and Maggie O'Farrell, One Battle After Another by Paul Thomas Anderson, Train Dreams by Clint Bentley and Craig Quetter, and the winner was One Battle After Another. For original screenplay, we have Blue Moon by Robert Kaplow, It Was an Accident by Jafar Panay, with script collaborators Nadir Savar, Shadmir Rastin, and Mehdi Mordain. I'm always going to pronounce these names wrong.
Okay.
Marty Supreme by Ronald Brownstein and Josh Safdie. Sentimental Value, written by Eskil Vaught, Jakeem Trier, and Sinners by Ryan Coogler. And the winner was Sinners by Ryan Coogler. You love
Yeah.
to see it. And the last three, cinematography, Dan Laustin for Frankenstein, Darius Kanji for Marty Supreme, Michael Bauman for One Battle After Another, Autumn Derlin, Arkpa for Sinners, Adolfo Velasio for Train Dreams, and the winner was Autumn Derlin Arkpa for Sinners. For directing, we have Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Jakeem Trier for Sentimental Value, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, and the winner was Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. Now, I've seen both these movies. You know which one I like more. Ryan Coogler should have
Yes.
won. For Best Picture, the nominees were Begonia, F1. I don't know if F1 was that good. Frankenstein,
It
Hamnet,
wasn't.
Marty
It wasn't.
Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams, and the winner was One Battle After Another. I gotta watch some of these. You said something about wanting to see The Secret Agent. What is that?
I don't. I've seen some shots from it, and I was just interested in it. I don't know too much about it.
Because some of these, like Hamnet, heard a lot about.
Yeah.
I need to check that out. The Secret Agent, I don't know anything about that. Surprisingly, it's a crime thriller. Surprising no one.
Right.
That's crazy. The dude that plays the lead character voices a character in Maul Shadow Lord, the animated um, Disney or Star Wars series that's out right now.
Really?
He also voices Death in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Yeah, his voice is he has a great voice. His voice is awesome. And it's on Disney Plus. I should check this out. And then Sentimental Value. Don't know about that either.
Yeah, same. Don't know that much about that one.
It's about sisters reuniting with an estranged father, who's a once renowned director, who offers one of them a role. That's interesting. Train Dreams, also don't know that one either. The rest of them I know. Train Drains and Begonia, I think, are the last ones that I don't know. It's on
Are you
Netflix.
not familiar with
No,
Begonia?
no, I'm not familiar with Begonia. I would say like turn of the 20th century movie, Train Dreams. That makes all the sense in the world. It's literally called Train Dreams.
Okay.
What about Begonia?
Be- Begonia is done by Luca Negro, I believe is his name. Wait, let's see. I want to pronounce it right. I do know this filmmaker, Luca Guadagnino. Yeah, Luca Guadagnino. He did Challengers.
Hmm. That makes me want to watch it more. I love Challengers.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, I said the wrong director. I think I said the wrong director.
Yorgos
Yeah, yeah,
Lanthimos.
yes, and he did
Poor
the
Things.
film that he, yeah, Poor Things.
Still haven't
Yes,
watched that. I need to see that.
same.
That's the Oscars. Not as exciting for me as Game Awards, as much as I
Right.
love
Yeah.
movies. Um, I just Oscars. Just it's way more pretentious. Also, it's not as fun to watch because I'm gonna tell you something. If Oscars had trailers for new movies, upcoming movies
That would be funny.
the Game Awards has for new games, I low key would watch the Oscars. If like after like Avengers Doomsday trailer debuted at the Oscars, I would be sitting in my on my couch watching the Oscars.
That would be hilarious.
Low key, maybe they need to start doing that. If not the Oscars, somebody else, like another award show, like movie or film award show, should do that. I would love that. I would watch that because the Game Awards isn't considered the prestigious one; it's just the most popular one. Like
Right. I'd say, and I'd say the Dice Awards.
the Dice
Um,
Awards are a big one, and yeah, the Dice Awards are more so like prestigious. And there's another one that I can't remember the name of, but like yeah, it's the Game Awards is more so just it's one big commercial, and I'm not mad at it. It's fun. It's a good time every year. But that's all we got. It's gonna be a long one.
it is going to be a
It's
long
not
one.
always
Yeah.
going to be this long because the whole goal was that they wouldn't always be this long.
Right.
It just so happens to be there was a lot,
Yeah, there was a lot that happened in the past couple
but
months.
also I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to in the future. I'm gonna have to lock in and like limit things a little bit more
Okay.
because
Bet. Yeah.
in a month lead up, a lot can happen.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think as much is gonna happen as it did now because it just so happens to be that the Oscars happen. That's about all we got. You can find our ads in the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that it's notified when we post. Peace.
Peace.